welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and this one is a bit of a special one because it involves one of our trips overseas, and it's going to be in this McLaren GT because I've been pestering McLaren ever since they launched this car. Can I do a proper journey in it? You know, can McLaren really do a GT car that competes with the likes of Aston Martin DB11 or the Bentley Continental GT? Seems quite a tall order to me, but I'm very willing to try it, see whether a mid-engine car can really be used as a true GT car. And they rang up and said, well, we actually need a car down in Nice on 3rd of December. Are you all right to do it? And I said, oh yeah, fine, absolutely fine, on the phone without checking my diary. And then realised that this afternoon, today's Friday, I've got to dash up, which I'm really happy about, up to the inn at Whitwell, which is in Lancashire, deepest, right in the moors up there, because I'm on a shoot tomorrow. So its first job is it's going to whisk me up there. It's about 200 miles from here. Can it take all my shooting clobber and then overnight bag and stuff? Then do the shoot Saturday, dash down from there, and then I'm on an 8:15 a.m. ferry out of Portsmouth, and we'll go over to Caen, and then through France, and end up at Nice Airport for 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So all going to be a bit of a rush. You're going to join us, and let's see how it goes, whether this is a true GT car. The big thing about the McLaren GT is basically it has two boots. It's got this one in the front that all McLarens have, but this one is a fair bit bigger actually. I'm surprised how much space there is in here. I mean, it's proper deep. I'm putting all the sort of shootery stuff in the front here. There we go. I mean, there's plenty of space there, but what's really trick on this one is what happens at the back, this great big tailgate. And it comes up, it's powered, and there's this space here which they've done across the engine and right down to the seat. It's quite a big space. I think it's quite clever. There's this little secret bit at the back. So if you've got stuff you don't want to have on show, this rear bit is actually covered when it comes down. So I'm putting stuff like suit bag, which is very easy to put in. Hat. I'm going to put the jacket all the way down there, and then you press another button and it closes up. So that's what's different about this GT. 3:15, I've got to be up there for like 6:30, 7 o'clock, so I'm going to dash. It's going to be dark when I arrive, so probably the next time you'll see us is outside, crisp, tomorrow morning. Well, morning from a very frosty inn at Whitwell. Absolutely beautiful around here, the scenery. And McLaren, well, we rocked up last night. It was a very busy night. They had an event happening in the marquee, 200 extra people in, so I had to park right down almost in the river down here, and I've met by a very frosty McLaren. Yeah, trip up. First few thoughts on this GT car. One, very comfortable. Coming up, I can't get over its ride quality. Even in this, it's 200 miles up here, and it was just a grotty cruise up the motorways, etc. And it behaved impeccably, and weirdly, it did over 30 the gallon. I think the average is something like 30.5 since I've dropped it off, which is pathetic, Metcalf. I must try harder. But it's it did it very well, and another big surprise was the sat-nav. I normally am a complete Waze fanatic, and the sat-nav on this was as good as Waze. It knew all where the hold-ups were, and it took us round them and stuff. So yeah, no, good. And I also like, this is the key you get with a McLaren, and it's very clever. So to open it, I do that, and it does its little flashy little lights. And what I love about it is, yeah, if you want to open the back, you just press this thing, and hey presto, the boot opens, powered boot. I think the job now is to get this started up and warmed up. I'm guessing it won't have frozen locks. It's got powered closed doors on this one as well. Was cold last night. The readout on the dash, -5 last night, so a little chillier than I expected. let's get out of here. So what we're doing now, I'm just going to disappear off. We're meeting a rendezvous because I'm heading up to the moor. I would normally bring a four-wheel drive of some sort because where we're going is not suitable for McLaren, even a GT. So I'm off to do a rendezvous with some Defenders and things, Land Rover Defenders, and then we're going up in the moor. I will meet you later on, I'm sure. Let's just get out of here. Actually defrosting quite quickly. Oh, I just got to clamber out of here. Oh dear, there's the first bit of ice. Don't know if you can hear that. It's quite icy out there, as you'd expect, I suppose, with -5. Did I bring the right car? I'm not sure. Yeah, this is interesting. You obviously haven't, there's no salt gone down on the roads, and there's sort of streams going across the road, and they're frozen. So yeah, a little bit more exciting than I would like at just after 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Maybe I should have brought the Range Rover. As you can see outside, it is just amazing, this part of the world. Trough of Bowland this is. Unfortunately, this really pretty bit is over there, and I can't do much about it. Right, we're on single track road now with quite a crowd. The friend I'm following has a Porsche 992, one of the latest 911s, and I have to say they're pretty close, these cars. Obviously this is a fair bit more money, but as sort of, I suppose they're all after that same customer who wants a sports car, but a usable sports car. So I'm quite intrigued that we're both doing this on the ice, single track, highly crowned. Neither of us are grounding. It's just sort of, you're not always tearing around a race truck, are you? So you do a bit of this. And I think if I'd come down here in a 570 GT or something, it would be, I'd have to have the nose lift on. So yeah, I'll give it a tick for the amount of ground clearance this car has got and where it can take you because of it. Right, here we are. Now we're going to meet up here and decamp to some proper off-road cars. I suspect there'll be a little gaggle of Defenders waiting for us here. Where are we going to go? I'm going to go in here, I think. There we are. Yeah, a slightly more sensible vehicle there. Good. Here's our weapon of choice to take us up on the moor. I think it's going to do very well. Proper Defender. I've been in this one before, and all it does is live up on the top moor, and it can go places you wouldn't believe. And then we've got a winch to get us out if it all gets a bit too hairy. I don't think the McLaren would have been very happy going up here, and this is just the start of it. Well, morning. You join us as we have a Portsmouth Cairn ferry up there. I don't know if you can see that by just. It is 20 past 7 in the morning. We had a 5 o'clock start to leave the house to get down to Portsmouth. The ferry leaves at 8:15. I think the last time you saw us we were up in Trough of Bowland. What a beautiful part of the UK. It's in Lancashire, just on the Yorkshire border, and moorland, and the frost that morning and the blue skies. It was just England at its best. And then there was a dash down the motorway again. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn this back on. I just want to see how many miles we've actually done. So since start, if I go onto the computer, long term, how many miles we've done? 531 miles now, 30.5 mpg it's telling me. Cruising down the motorway, it does seem to just sip fuel. This ferry, Portsmouth Cairn, is just a nice way into France. Of course you can use Eurotunnel, but this drops you a different part of France. I've just fancied dropping by Le Mans and going, we're going to just do a slightly different route in France, and our end destination is Saint Tropez. We're in Saint Tropez Monday night, and that's the sort of the end of this test, and I say it'll be about 1,500 miles we'd have done in this McLaren.
it continues to impress. Just the refinement of it. It's not what I really question whether McLaren could do a GT car. I'm just starting to come round to the idea, because it's really good at the cruise. It's very sensitive. The standout feature so far for me is the steering. You compare it to Bentley Continental GT and DB11 and so on, they've stuck with this hydraulic steering, and it has a Lotus feel. It's just a lovely wheel. And I also love the purity of a steering wheel with no buttons. It's just for steering the car. One thing it didn't do well was the M6 toll. I went up on the M6 toll on Friday night, and I just couldn't get the car to hit the reader. You just, because you'll sit so low, and there seems to be a big distance from where I'm sitting to the outside of the car, and then you're reaching up, and it's all wrong. So on the way down last night, I thought I must try this. Maybe it was just me, and I positioned as close as I could get, and I still had a right old faff trying to get a card into a card reader. So yeah, one of the slight downsides of a sort of engine, mid-engine car with funny doors, is if you're trying to do M6 or a toll road or a parking or something and you can't reach. We're going to dive on the ferry. I've got some work to do on the ferry, and then we arrive in France at a very civilised 3 p.m. This afternoon, and then we're on our way down to Le Mans. We're off the ferry, obviously, and where I was actually aiming at from Caen was to go to Le Mans. We've got a speed bump here. It is so nice being in a car that you don't worry about speed bumps. In a McLaren, and they're quite big speed bumps in France now when you see a 30 kilometre limit through towns. Anyway, this route is a sort of favourite route to Le Mans. There are several ways, obviously, to go to Le Mans, and the sort of lemming way, should we say, is the Dover-Calais and straight down to Le Mans, and Dover-Calais back again. And it's mainly autoroutes, and there's a great herd of us Brits charging down. Another alternative, favoured by Derek Bell, tipped me off on this one, by the drivers, was to go on an overnight ferry to Le Havre or Caen, as we've just done, and then make your way to Le Mans, not using the autoroute. Just put in your sat nav, say no tolls, no motorways, and then it takes you sort of through rural France, quick roads, straight roads, not mega dynamic, oh my god, you've got to do this road. But it's just a nice way to Le Mans. It's about 3.5–4 hours. There's tobacs all the way along, and you sort of aim a place called Fleurs when you come out of Caen. Go on a bit further, and then it's Mayenne you want to go for. And when you get to Mayenne, you're just to the west of Le Mans. There's a little yellow D road, D35, and that takes you into Le Mans. So it's just a nice way of getting there, and I would recommend it. It's the way to go down, and then we all finish at Le Mans finishes at the same time, and everyone who needs to get back to the UK, and then it's quite fun to do the autoroute back to Calais in a big gang. Now we're going to get to Le Mans. I had hoped to explain all this at Le Mans, but I think we might be in darkness, so I'm just going to press on. We're about 50 kilometres away, and it is 10 to 5.
Well, morning. We stayed last night in Bourg. Nice Hotel de Bourbon. Got a converted chapel for a sort of dining room, breakfast area this morning. But just before we set off, I just wanted to talk you around the car, this McLaren GT, and just some of the options on it, because they're a bit eye-watering. And I've got my spec sheet here. Now, on the road, this car, £163,000. But on this car are a few extras, totaling £57,630, making a grand total, as the car you see here, £220,630. So let's just go through some of those extras. Well, I start with that Lux Pack for £9,990. It gives you adjustable seats, electrically adjustable steering column, sort of all things inside, soft grain leather, headlining, those sort of things. But this red, red, £4,000 extra. These wheels, black wheels, forged alloy wheels, £2,750. Sports exhaust, £3,400. I was thinking, I haven't actually driven a McLaren without a sports exhaust. I'd love to try a standard one, but they always come with a sports exhaust. Carbon fibre extended sill finishers. They don't look carbon fibre to me, but they were £3,600. Practicality pack. Vehicle lift, rear view camera, front and rear parking sensors, electrically folded mirrors, etc. Home link, you've got to have that. £3,750. Premium pack, full LED lights, Wilkins 12 speaker audio system, soft closed doors, purification pollen filtration for the cabin air, £4,900. It goes on. Defined black pack, gloss black wheel finish, gloss black door mirror cases. Well, I've got carbon cases on here, don't quite that. Satin black exhaust finisher, £4,500. Oh, I see. MSO defined carbon fibre exterior pack. Includes front splitter, carbon round the front. I really wouldn't do carbon on the front because it gets stone chips. You automatically have to have some protection film put on it. MSO gloss carbon door mirror casing, so those as well. So that's all that. £12,990 for the defined carbon fibre exterior pack. Wouldn't do that. Ceramic brakes, carbon ceramic brakes, £7,750 there. Also aluminium calipers, they say. I'm not that impressed with the brake performance on this just when you're pootling around. I'll discuss it more when we're driving, but it's just, they don't seem to quite grab correctly. You're thinking about the braking more than I should. I don't quite get, they're like they're new or the pads haven't worn in or something. I want them to work better than they do. Anyway, let's go around the back and have a look at the map. Time warp route into Le Mans. This is one of those long, typically French roads that you go up a rise and then go over the other side. You see it continues for like 10-15 kilometres. Very pretty, as I say, tobaccos all along the route. Make your mind up how you want to go around here, but if you're coming to Le Mans in a classic car or something like that, this is a really nice way in. Then we dash down to Bourgs, yeah. So we dash down here because today we're going on a bit of a special route. We're going to the Millau Viaduct. It's a Norman Foster design viaduct. Spectacular. If you're down in this region, it's well worth a trip. And then on to Saint Tropez. So we've got to get a bit of a wiggle on to pack it all in. And this the other thing I like with an electronic thing like that, there's no sort of secondary tab to have to undo when you open the boot. And there's stacks of rooms in here. We've got three bags in there. Absolutely extraordinary. There is plenty of space in this car. I could happily sit another one on top of there. Right, this is one of those hotels with a bit of a ramp out, so I think it's going to test the front nose. To this viaduct, but the weather doesn't look good. It's every now and then we go up. It's quite undulating, this autoroute, and it's foggy. I mean, properly foggy, sort of worrying me for you. It's 1 degree outside,
fog lights are on, and there was not a very nice crash not that far away. It looked sort of normal. It wasn't foggy at that moment, but this fairly recent Porsche 992, I think, smashed into the barriers on a slide curve. And all the police were there and stuff, and then we just accelerated away, and this just spun up, and I think it's like freezing fog outside, so we're slightly gentle with all inputs, making our way to see this wonderful viaduct in the fog. I hope not when we get there, but we'll see. We just want to swing the camera around to see what we're looking at. Yeah, not great conditions really for a McLaren GT, but it's coping well. But I am being circumspect, shall we say, after seeing that Porsche in the barriers. Right, here we go. Across this remarkable valley. There we are. Viaduct, 2.5 kilometres long. This is, and as I say, if you really want to view it, it's worth coming off close by here and having a look at it from underneath, because it is truly spectacular when you just see the height and the elegance and how thin it is, and it just sort of appears weightless, and it's like a little piece of Hot Wheels track or something suspended right up in the air. But if you go to the very peak of one of these columns, and the longest one underneath, then it's 343 meters high, 1,125 feet, an Imperial, higher than the Eiffel Tower, and just the most beautiful piece of engineering you've ever seen. Sometimes the clouds are around it, but yeah, it's worth searching out. As I say, this area of France, it's pretty special. It's sort of undulating, it's sort of slightly hidden, beautiful valleys, sort of again from it's like Tuscany, I suppose, Tuscany of France. What gets me about the Millau Viaduct is obviously designed by Sir Norman Foster, and it opened in May 2004, and also Sir Norman Foster designed the McLaren Technology Centre, which also opened in 2004, December 2004, and he's a bit of a hero of mine. But what epic, well, two epic designs done by the same design house, the Millau Viaduct and the McLaren Technology Centre. Wouldn't you like those on your CV? So 53 litres, 11.66 gallons, 360 miles, 360 divided 11.66 equals 30.874 mpg in a 620 horsepower, 200 mile an hour mad machine. 31 mpg on a cruise, and I was, well, a little healthy amount over the limit, but not too much still. I'm quite impressed with that. And also 53 litres, I thought I was pushing it on the tank because it holds 72 litres, so I ought to take it down to naught. It now says the range is 530 kilometres. I'm quite impressed with that. Okay, well, we turned off the A8 a little bit early for Saint Tropez and heading towards La Garde-Freinet. It's just a better road in, and I've had enough of motorways, having had sort of 2 days of them, and I really want to try this McLaren GT out on a decent bit of road. And I've always liked the way McLaren, it's very easy to get to the next mode. I press the button called active, take it out of sort of auto, put it into manual active, you get this display, you get your tyre temperatures up there, and if I put the gearbox into race track, I get that. I get a different display with a rev counter along the top. It's just easier to see.
and around, and it's, you know when you're hitting the red line of that. And it's good when the paint starts at 8.2.
Just the last little sort of 50 kilometres into Saint Tropez via the Gare Frenet will be like a aperitif at the end of the fine dining. So I'm looking forward to this bit. The trouble is, it's got a bit dark. We hope to film some of this, so with some grainy shots of me driving this car, you'll know why. I think that fog and sort of icy road slowed us down a bit, so we're running about an hour and a half late, but never mind, I'm going to make the most of it. I do like this gearbox, and I particularly like the way McLaren make the paddles. You can change both ways on it. It means when you've got a fair bit of lock on, you don't have to think which way is up or down the gearbox. You know, if you just nudge it away or that way, you can do it on either paddle, whichever one's closer. It's clever. It's got some punch, this car, though. It's funny how it completely morphs. We're just following a car. The motorway, I'm really impressed how it cruises in its comfort mode, and yet it sort of comes alive on a road like this. Just a push of a button. Yeah, to add to the excitement, it's now a little damp, the road as well. They've had a crazy rain down here recently. They didn't actually get it in Saint Tropez, thank goodness, but I think this is where this car starts to score, because again, I mean, much as I'm impressed by the Bentley Continental GT, it does not feel anything like this up a road like this. I think it's amazing what they've done with the rear steer on that car, but put it on a sort of road like this and you really feel the weight of it. What I don't like on this McLaren, I have to say, are these carbon brakes. The last thing I expected to be saying, because normally I'm a real fan of carbon brakes, but they do feel a bit dead, and they don't have that initial bite that I expect. Nice to exercise this thing up here. What I think rear steer for me disguises the weight problem, it doesn't get rid of it. And what is clever about this, what I'm feeling here, is I know this is a lighter car, it's just reacting at the wheel without any mass. It does push on the McLaren. I'm only just touching 7. I'm actually getting up to 8. They've redone the mapping and now that's going slightly. I don't like the brakes. I'm really surprised that they're not up to the rest of the car. It's not a solid pedal. Normally carbon shocks with bite. It's normally the other way around, but not with this car. About sports exhaust, but it does sound good up here. Right, we're coming to the Gare Frenet now. Time to calm things down. First car you spot in Saint Tropez, and it's a Hummer. Ideal transport round a little tight. Well, that's the end of the trip. We are in, as you can tell, Saint Tropez. I've just taken a photo of the dash so I can see what the numbers are. And we did 2,148 kilometres in McLaren GT. We averaged 30.2 mpg, which is shocking. And I have spent 25 hours and 44 minutes behind the wheel. I think that's about 1,350 miles in all. So is it a GT car? That's why I stepped out to find out. Well, we'll just go through a little list of things that niggle. First thing I've got to say, obviously getting in and out with the mid-engine and the big sills and the carbon tub.
is a bit more awkward than stepping out of your Bentley Conti GT or DB11 or something like that. But you know that from the outset, and the way the doors open gives you a big hole to jump in and out of, and it just goes with the genre. There are some plus sides of putting up with that little downside if you're not used to it, but it's it's obviously more awkward than 911. The other little thing with those doors, it just sometimes doesn't quite work, as you saw on the M6 toll, or you're in a car park or something like that. They are a bit tricky. The other thing I have to mention are the brakes. I'm so surprised on this, because part of that compromise of having the mid-engine car and choosing the McLaren is you're going to be absolutely bob on all the dynamics, and everything is. It's a super quick gear change, you've got those options, but the brakes just disappoint. They're just mushy. I hope they were going to get better, because they looked like new discs when we got the car. Coming up to Le Gard Freinet, didn't like them at all. I'm really surprised about that, because the whole car absolutely aced the rest of the trip down here. It did that crazy MPG. It is so refined. I move on to the plus points of this car now. It is so much more refined than I expected. I knew they'd done work on it, but not what they've achieved with this car and how quiet it is on the cruise. And then you get that McLaren interlinked damping suspension that glides over the bumps way better than this car has any right to. First experience with that 12C. I know 720S is another generation of it, but as a GT in that ride, I think it's better than 911, and I never expected that. The other bit I think they've done really good work on is carbon tubs are normally quite noisy. The suspension has lots of noise going to it. Not on this one. There's no bangs and crashes, and I've seen other reports commented on it. Well, there wasn't any on this car. It was really very refined. The other thing you notice inside as well is the glass cabin, loads of space. It just feels spacious actually inside. And then you have to mention the new boots, or the luggage space on it. What I've discovered on this trip is you've also got this bigger nose boot, and that's plenty big enough to take all the soft bags. So that means that rear hatch, it's a strange shape, but it's all bonus boot. You only use it, say, for coats or odd things that are too long or whatever to go in the front. And it seems to me, people asking, well, I want a 2+2. The amount of times we carry people in the back of a 2+2 coupe this is competing with, DB11, etc., or I can count on one hand. What you actually have is that's a spare sort of boot area. So that's just the same as this. I don't mind that this isn't a +2 at all. I don't think it makes sense. I want that McLaren DNA, that what it actually means to have a McLaren, and I think it's best suited in this. So I love the boot. I keep banging on about this front nose. I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to drive this car and not worry about hitting these speed bumps. It's a first for me in a mid-engine modern car. What else? I think I've never got on with current McLaren design. I think it's just too fussy. The 570 GTs, etc., 600. I've never really liked them. I would always choose the Ferrari. I think the F8 Tributo is a beautiful looking car. Now the GT comes along, and it hasn't got a great big wing on the back, and it's more elegant because it's longer, because it's extended with this front and rear. It has that Enzo-like gaping hole for the rad there, and it looks more relaxed. It's not trying to set a Nürburgring time or go to a track day. I like the look of this car. I like it a lot. It hasn't got those silly 720S headlight nonsense at the front. It's got cat's eye lights at the front, so I really like that. So there you go. It's been really great to get to know the GT on a journey like this. It's my favourite thing to do, and I desperately wanted this trip to go on. McLaren are actually coming in the morning to fetch this car because it's off on another test in the morning. But actually, secretly, I want to carry on with this car. If there was 2 days extra, I'd be straight down to Italy. I've got out of it after all those miles. 3 intense days, not an ache or a pain. Seats were absolutely ace for me in it. I love the practicality, and I'd love to keep getting to know this car. I feel I haven't really tested its dynamics, and I know they're pretty magic, and you've got all that performance. So I've really enjoyed this car. I've hugely enjoyed it, actually. I probably put it as my top McLaren at the moment. So I hope you've also enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing, more videos coming along very soon.